Known him since he joined the Green Bay Press-Gazette a few years back. He's a Northeast Wisconsin native, now a staff writer at Packers.com. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Wes Hodkiewicz to the View. All right, well, let's get to the nuts and bolts.
Let's do it.
The cuts today, in case you have not heard. Peter Mortel released, the Notre Dame Triton and Minnesota Gopher. Tim Mastay, at least as he put it, through this week, has won the punting job. Jamel Johnson, Ed Williams, they trimmed 2 wide receivers. Still very many talented pass catchers on this team. Randall Jett, the defensive back. Derek Matthews, the linebacker. Demetrius Anderson, the nose guard. Let go. And that leaves 7 to go? 6 to go?
I believe so. Yeah, I think that gets us to 82.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. It was a tough day, and obviously Peter Mortel is such an amazing story when you go back and think about it. I think that right now, presently, Kyle Stuke is the only, from West Appear, is the only guy from the Green Bay metro area in the NFL after Drew Nowak was let go this week by the Chiefs. So Peter being able to make that jump and compete with Tim as well as he did, I thought that really spoke volumes about him, and it was an amazing story for him living just blocks away.
Yeah, and as I was telling a couple of guys, he is the same age as my son.
Yeah.
So I would run across Peter in third grade basketball games, all the way through. We were different grade schools and stuff, so I've known him really as a little guy, and he always calls me Mr. Daniels. I don't know why, but that's. But
I have an idea why.
Yeah, I know.
He's your son's age.
Yeah, I know. That's true. But the thrill, and I swear to God, those bombs he hit at Lambeau were as much adrenaline as they were
totally.
execution.
Yeah.
And he got his moment. I think he's a talented kicker. He is such a good kid, a conscientious kid. But as Tim Mastay was saying, he got cut by the Colts, sat out a year. Yep. He needed a couple of breaks to kind of just get into the league. Peter's in that same situation. Certainly got the talent, needs the absolute right situation, and probably a break or two.
Yeah, no question. And I was talking when we were in San Francisco. I was talking to John Snyder a little bit from De Pere, general manager of the Seahawks, and he said too. I mean, he knows Peter, knew his background, and he said he can punt in this league. I mean, he has a leg that's capable of punting in the NFL. And I thought in his disposition, how he approached everything, even today when he announced it on social media that he'd been let go, the professionalism. As you said, you've known him since third grade. I covered him back at Notre Dame.
Right.
And, one of the most well-spoken, carries himself unbelievably well, and the things he did in the community in Minnesota, tremendous, ways to give back. And with him and Tim Mastay, both really solid guys. So, I mean, you hated to see either one of them, come up on the losing end.
So that was a fun roster battle to watch. What are some of the other roster battles that really intrigue you?
Well, this whole camp has had a lot of really intriguing things. I think you look at the receiver battle right now. You have 7 guys on this roster that were drafted in the NFL. How rare that is to have 7 guys drafted by one team on one roster competing for spots. You have Geronimo Allison right behind them, the undrafted rookie out of Illinois, has showed well for himself. And the linebacker battle has really impressed me too. Inside linebacker was seen as a weakness, for them last year, a thin position. And they had Jake Ryan step up. You had Carl Bradford make that transition. Joe Thomas put on more weight. So seeing those kind of position battles play out a little bit, I think has been really impressive. And I'm interested to see how it plays out this final week.
I think the secondary is going to be hair-pullingly difficult.
I'd agree.
With Evans, Hawkins,
Kentrell Bryce.
They love Bryce.
Yeah.
Dorlian, injured today, but still has made plays. Goodson's going to be suspended. Gunter, I know they really like, but all of a sudden, are these kind of players squeezing their way in somehow?
I agree.
And how many do you keep? They may go really.
Yeah.
We can get into some of the number crunching in a minute, but that secondary is.
Well, how much of a change is that, Mark? When you go back to 2013, when Morgan Burnett was, dealing with some injuries, M.D. Jennings and Jerron McMillan were the safeties, and nothing against either one of those guys.
Well,
but
there was plenty against those guys.
The quality in terms of the competition at safety now, when you factor in the transition that Micah Hyde made, I personally feel like Hyde could start as a safety in this league. I think he has that ability in the center field. And then now these young guys that came up out of nowhere. I mean, Bryce, I thought, really showed well for himself in that game. Evans had the interception from Milwaukee. Just some really talented guys there that are making that a very intriguing competition to watch. And it's probably a good situation for Ted Thompson. These guys have to make tough cuts come Friday or Saturday. But at the same time, it's going to be some painstaking ones as well.
I think so.